Okay, our helmet stickers for this past game on defense, Derek Brown just played a dominating effort on the day. Had two fumble recoveries. I think he had one for 50-plus yards. He had a sack. He had a pass breakup. I think he had 5 tackles, and really just dominated up front. Had an outstanding game. Booby Whitlow on the offensive side of the football had 18 carries for 81 yards. Some of those were tough yards. He protected the football. And then Tanner Dean got our special teams helmet sticker for the fake punt and did a great job on kickoff coverage, with his physicality and everything that goes with that. Obviously, it was a very tough loss. Yesterday our defense played outstanding, had 4 turnovers, played good enough to win the game, and just kept responding. Offensively, just didn't get it done. I really think the big factor was the 2 for 14 on third downs. Never allowed us to get in any kind of rhythm. I think we only had 60 plays, so just really didn't have a good day offensively. Our special teams did some good things. And really, when I look at it, the atmosphere affected our guys. It kind of surprised me, but we had some false starts. We had some miscommunication, between the quarterback up front. But tough day. It was a tough loss. We talked to our team today, and we just said, hey, just trying to be real with them. It was a tough loss, but what we're going to do is we're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to put it behind us. And we've got the first half of our season completed. And the facts are right now we're 5-1. We've played 3 top 20 teams away from home, and we're 5-1. We have a week off, and it's a much-needed week off. I think the timing right now is good, and we're going to self-evaluate. We're going to get a head start on our next opponent and get healthier, and then work on improving our execution this next week. Looking at the second half, and we can big picture it right now. We're looking at playing 3 of the top 5 teams in the country, one of those being on the road. So great opportunities for this team. Like I said, we're feeling tough today. Like I said, tough loss, but we'll wake up tomorrow and we'll turn the page, and we'll be looking forward to this second half of the season. Questions?
Speaking of communication, there was one snap that went directly to Whitlow, and it looked like Bo was kind of going for it. Was that a communication issue?
No. It just I think the ball was a little bit wet, whatever. But we weren't planning on snapping it directly to him, if that's your question. So yeah. Booby made a really good catch and could have been a devastating play, as far as that goes. And so.
Gus, you mentioned Booby. Did you think in the second half that was some of the best football he's played so far?
I thought so. I thought he played with physicality, protected the football, and our line started leaning on him a little bit, and he did a good job in that second half.
See him bouncing a little bit more.
Yeah, he bounced a couple out and had good visions. He was patient, which, in the zone, you've got to be patient.
You're talking about Bo. He's been a great risk manager up until that point.
Yeah.
He took some risks that I know you weren't very happy about.
He did, but I'll say this, too. I got to do a better job putting him in better situations, too. And, that was a real atmosphere, there's no doubt. And, they have a good defense. And it was a learning experience. There's no doubt about that. I've been around here a long time, and that's pretty loud. That's probably, I'd compare that with some of the top that we've faced, and so I think that affected him a little bit. But the bottom line is I got to put him in better situations moving forward. And it was a learning experience that we'll be better for it the next time we get in that type of environment.
The pick in the end zone, they showed you on TV with your hand. It's an unusual situation for you to be that demonstrative.
Yeah, it was a tough.
Was it the call? Was it the throw?
No, we just turned the ball over. We turned the ball over when we were going to get points. That was really all there was to it. But like I said, I think we got to keep in mind that he's a true freshman, and he's learning every time out. That was a tough environment against a good defense. We're 5-1 right now with his leadership, and like I said, I think the big takeaway from me is I got to put him in better situations, and we'll do that moving forward, and I know he'll respond too.
I guess it seemed like Florida was being really slow on substituting on defense after you substituted, and then you guys were fighting the play clock.
Yeah, that is accurate. There was times that we were fighting the play clock with the noise and everything that went with it, and when we substitute, They were taking their time substituting. There's no doubt about that, and that's something we'll have to adapt to. We had a couple of check plays that probably we need to eliminate, moving forward with that and just snap the ball. There was a couple things that got the best of us with the play clock. We snapped probably 4 or 5, plays with the play clock being at 1 or 2, probably before we were ready to really get going. So we'll have to do a better job of that moving forward.
When you watched the film and reviewed it all, what would you have called or done differently on those third downs?
Yeah, there's a couple of those 3rd and shorts that obviously I'd like to have back, but we've got we've done a good job up to this point. We've done a good job on 3rd down. We had a couple opportunities, and like I said, we just didn't get it done on 3rd down. So we'll do better in the future. I'll tell you that. And like I said, it was pretty uncharacteristic because we were doing really well on 3rd downs up to that point.
Did you make a strategic decision to avoid Wildcat and going into the game, or you're like,
No, there was a couple times you got to understand, like when you have certain situations, you like certain things, whether it's Wildcat or whether it's something else. And by not getting 1st downs and getting in those situations, it kind of limited us a little bit from that standpoint. But I mean, anytime you play like we did and didn't play well and 2 for 14, you look back, and whether it's Wildcat or anything else, that could have worked more effective. That's something you look at. And I'm going to say this too. I mean, from a coach's standpoint too, this week's going to give us a really good chance to look at everything, evaluate what we're good at, what we don't need to do. Personnel, I mean, Anthony Schwartz needs to have the ball more than he touched the ball one time. So there's a lot of things that it's going to allow us to do now. And I think Anthony will have his thing off his hand pretty quick too, that'll help with that. And I'm just using that as an example. I mean, there's other things too that's going to allow us to really try to improve for this second half of the season.
Gus, is there any concern about, obviously there's going to be so much focus from everywhere on those 3 games that you mentioned, but when you got 2 others and one
Yeah.
specifically 2 weeks from now that could really screw up your season if
Yeah.
you lose.
No, there's no doubt. And I think right now, when you're at the halfway point and you have an off week, I think it's always good to evaluate the first half and see what you have ahead of you the second half. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's next game, and there's nothing you can take for granted. And this week will give us a chance to get a head start on our next game too, which we've always done during off weeks. And we'll continue to have that same routine that we've had in the past as far as off weeks. And in the past, we've done fairly well when we've done that. But we will definitely be focused on one game at a time, not looking ahead, not taking anything for granted, as far as that goes.
Gus, any comments to Dan Mullen alluding to Marlon Davidson's kid calling it dirty?
Yeah. Marlon is not a dirty player. Matter of fact, Marlon's one of the best football players in our league. He's probably one of the classiest, if not the classiest, in our league. And we're honored and proud that he's one of our leaders.
have you addressed that with Coach Mullen?
No.
Was there consideration to taking Bo out of that game and letting Joey get in there?
No, we every week we've had situations and packages that Joey was going to be in. We just never got to that point, and I just felt like we were so close, and we had opportunities still late in the game to win, and but those situations just never presented themselves as far as our plan going in, and we were fighting till the end. I'm proud of our team; they kept fighting, and we still thought we had a chance to win late in the game.
Did you think Bo was rattled? Is it fair looking back on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that affected him. I mean, that's a tough environment. We had some communication things and all that. And like I said, I mean, I think the big thing I learned from it is I got to put him in better situations. I mean, like I said, he's still a true freshman, guys. I mean, he's still learning every time, and that's one of the best environments to play in. It wouldn't matter if you had a 5th-year quarterback. That's a tough environment. So it's a learning experience. He's going to improve. He's a winner. And like I said, I'm gonna do a better job moving forward, putting him in situations that can help him. And so that's my goal. That's my job. And we'll do that. We'll do that moving forward.
You spoke after the game about how you noticed a couple of some of the quickness of your offensive line against the defense like that?
No, I'm not going to say that. I just think anytime you play a good team and you play in a tough environment, and you learn a lot, and that's one of the things that we'll be evaluating this week. You know, as offensive staff, we're going to watch every single play, every formation, and a lot of times when you're able to do that, it really opens your eyes about some things. So I'm not ready to sit here and say specifics now. That was probably more of a big picture comment that you learn something about your team and, you know, about offense or each week. So it was more of a big picture assessment that this week we'll have a chance to really sit down and get a little more in detail and watch plays and everything that goes with it from the first 6 games.
Will you consider any personnel changes to starting lineup on the
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not ready to sit there and say anything about our offensive line is capable of being a really good offensive line. I do believe that, and but at the same time, it's also too. I need to put them in successful situations too. So it works both ways. But you know, like I said, I think the reality is we're 5-1, big picture. Obviously, we're disappointed that we didn't win that one, but this group has potential to be a good offense, and I believe that just as much today as I did before we played that last game. So, you know, we'll move forward, and I'm looking forward to that second half of the season.
You've been obviously in these situations before. You guys have bounced back and won the SEC championship game twice, in fact, after a loss. I'm sure you draw upon that experience, but do you communicate that to your players, and what has been the recipe that's led to that bounce back?
Well, I mean, you've got to move on. You got to learn from situations, and every time we did make it to the championship game or win, we learned from the situation. We were better because of it. And that's our challenge with this group. The great thing about it, we got great leadership, and also we got some big time players that we have that we can lean on too, and a lot of these guys that we have, these older guys, have actually been through it, you know, in 2017. So, you know, that also helps with that.
The play that Tanner made on the fake punt, what impressed you about the way he was able to get a hand?
Well, you know, they're known for fake punts. There's no doubt about it. And Coach Porter did a good job of rushing 3 instead of 2. They were expecting us to only be rushing 2. And Tanner came off the edge. He took on a block right there. And, you know, Smoke Monday did a good job, too, up the middle. And Chandler Wooten off the side. So I think all 3 of those guys did a super job, you know, as far as that. And that was a big play in the game up to that point. There's no doubt about that.
Was Short, did Florida do anything to take Shorts away, or do they have to have him? What do they do?
Well, I mean, they were setting the edge. I mean, we tried to hide one of our speed sweeps, and they set the edge. It was -4, so they weren't going to give you anything on the outside. Now, he played some wide receiver too, and we had a couple options where we could have gave it or throw it to him, but they actually covered him. So, but I think in the big picture is, you know, just we're an offense that, you know, thrives on the big play, and when we have big plays, explosive plays, that's when we play really good. So you just got to have your big play guys touch the ball as much as possible. So that's probably the best way to put that. And I'll say this too, it'll help once he has his mini cast off too. You know, I mean, that's going to help, and we're hoping after this week that's a possibility.
Is the way they were playing on the edge also kind of the reason why Bo wasn't as effective running balls he has been?
Yeah, they weren't allowed to. They made him keep a couple, but they did a good job folding back. And I think, you know, we had one exchange where the backer and he almost split it. It was close, but, you know, on our read zone, you know, they were playing us like a triple option. The free safety made the play on that one for no gain, you know, as far as that. So they were definitely doing a good job on the edge.
Were you surprised at how little Grantham was blitzing?
Not really. Not after he got off to a good start without doing it. That's usually how it goes. You know, they'll have a plan, and that plan's working. They're going to continue to do that. And they were setting the edges really well and trying to stay away from the big play.
Gus, it doesn't seem like you took as many deep shots as you have in some.
Yeah, we got to give our guys opportunities down the field, and it kind of fits too. You know, they were playing a little bit more single high than they had before with their safety back deep, probably trying to deter us to do that, from doing that. But you know, we've got to have explosive plays, you know, and we didn't have very many, you know, yesterday.
Looked like Jacoby McClain had a pretty good game, led the team in tackles. What did you see from him?
Yeah, he is. He had a good game on special teams too. He's a good open field tackler, and He can really run. He's got really good instincts in the box.
Going back to Schwartz, he's only got 5 catches this year. I know he's had the hand thing, but do you feel like you guys should have probably used him more in the passing game, or were you waiting?
Well, keep in mind, up until 2 weeks ago, he had a club on his hand, and we're still throwing it to him.
Right.
I don't know very many people would have thrown it to a guy with a club, you know. But, you know, I thought we did a good job, you know, getting the ball against A&M, and, you know, did a decent job getting the ball, you know, Mississippi State. But he's an explosive play guy, you know, and so we'll make assertive efforts to get him the ball more.
I know you.
That's the simple way to put it, I guess.
Sorry. I know you self-scout during this bye week, if you're analysts and anything. Is there anybody in the business that you even reach out to, go, hey, you watched a few of our games, what do you think about this, and bounce ideas off of?
Not so much. No, not so much. Usually, if you ever do that, usually it's in the middle of the season when you don't have time to properly do it yourself. But off weeks, you know, you have enough time to really see for yourself. And there's nothing like knowing your guys and seeing and being in the middle of it.
That's how important could these 2 weeks be? You mentioned passing game Schwartz.
Mhm.
Those guys now had a couple of weeks to now have 2 more weeks to get.
Yeah, and Seth Williams getting healthier too. I mean, he's an impact player too. You know, there's no doubt, and so it's going to be real critical. And like I said, I think we're getting closer to being healthy, you know, receiver wise, and so this will be a big week with our timing and you know, like I said, execution wise and everything that goes with that.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Okay, all right.